The loudest people are usually doing the least. The strongest moves are made in silence. There's a reason real progress doesn't announce itself. Noise leaks energy. Explanation invites interference. Validation weakens momentum. Silence protects the work. When you move quietly, you stop performing for approval. You stop negotiating with opinions. You stop feeding doubt, yours and theirs. You focus. Most people talk because they're uncertain. They explain because they're unsure. They announce because they need permission. You don't. Silence isn't weakness. It's restraint. It means you're building something that doesn't need defending. When you stop explaining your plans, you give them room to breathe. You let discipline do the talking. You let consistency become your voice. Because the truth is, the moment you tell everyone what you're about to do, your mind mistakes talk for progress. And progress doesn't happen in conversations. It happens in isolation. Silence forces you to confront yourself. No applause, no encouragement, no reassurance, just you and the work. And that's where strength is forged. Not when someone's watching, not when it's impressive, but when no one knows, and you do it anyway. There is power in not being understood, power in letting people underestimate you, power in resisting the urge to prove yourself, because when you move quietly, you move faster. You stop reacting, you stop defending, you stop wasting energy on perception. You become precise. Silence trains patience. It teaches you to delay gratification, to trust the process, to let results arrive on their own schedule. And when results finally speak, they speak clearly. No explanation needed, no justification required. The disciplined mind doesn't shout, it builds. It waits. It strikes when ready. So if you're in a quiet season, good. That means something is forming. If no one sees it yet, even better. That means it's still protected. Move in silence. Let your consistency echo. Let your discipline speak. Let your results arrive unannounced. Because silence isn't absence, it's preparation. Power doesn't announce itself, it arrives. There's a war happening, not out there, not against the world, inside you. Every day, two versions of you wake up. One wants comfort, one demands growth, one wants relief, one wants respect, and only one can win. Your dark side isn't evil, it isn't broken, it's raw, undisciplined, untrained, and when ignored, it takes control. Most people are afraid of this side of themselves. They suppress it. They deny it. They pretend it isn't there. That's why it runs them. You don't master darkness by avoiding it. You master it by confronting it. That voice that wants to quit, the urge to escape discomfort, the hunger for shortcuts. That's power, misdirected. If you don't give your darkness a mission, it will sabotage everyone you have. The disciplined mind doesn't kill the dark side. It commands it, turns aggression into focus, turns anger into drive, turns fear into precision. This is where most people fail. Because mastery requires honesty. You have to admit the truth. You're capable of weakness and strength. The inner war is fought daily, not once, not with motivation, But with structure, your dark side wants immediate relief. Your higher self wants long-term power. Discipline decides who you listen to. Every time you resist impulse, you don't lose something, you gain authority over your emotions, over your habits, over your future. This isn't about becoming ruthless. It's about becoming regulated, controlled intensity, directed aggression, calm pressure. The strongest people you know aren't the loudest. They've just won more internal battles than they've lost. And you don't win this war by hating yourself. You win it by training yourself. Face the part of you that wants to quit, not with shame, with command. Because once you master your dark side, nothing inside you can sabotage your future. The most dangerous enemy you'll ever face is the one you don't control. Nobody tells you this part, that as you grow, you begin to stand alone. Not because you're better, not because you're cold, but because you've changed. Growth rearranges your life. Old conversations stop making sense. Old habits stop feeling safe. Old circles stop feeling aligned. And suddenly, the room feels quieter. Most people mistake this silence for failure. They think something is wrong. They think they've lost something, but they haven't. They've outgrown it. Loneliness isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's redirection. When you choose discipline, you lose access to certain comforts. Late nights turn into early mornings. Distractions turn into focus. Excuses turn into standards, and not everyone can follow you there. That doesn't make them wrong. It just means you're on different paths now. The hardest part of growth is accepting that not everyone will come with you. Some will misunderstand, some will drift away, some will resent the change, not because you abandon them, but because you remind them of what they avoid. Growth exposes contrast, and contrast creates distance. The top isn't crowded, not because it's exclusive, but because it's demanding. It requires sacrifice, consistency, loneliness. And this is where most people turn back. They choose familiarity over purpose, belonging over becoming. You didn't. Being alone doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're becoming precise, selective with energy, intentional with time, careful with influence. Loneliness sharpens clarity. It forces you to listen inward, to build identity without applause, to stand firm without validation. You learn who you are when no one's watching, and who you're willing to be when no one's cheering. The people meant for your next level will meet you there. But first, you have to walk the distance alone. So don't fear the quiet. Don't rush to fill the space. This season isn't empty, it's preparing you. Lonely doesn't mean abandoned, it means focused. And focus is how the strongest futures are built. Not everyone is meant to go where you're headed. Your emotions aren't the problem. Your reaction to them is. Most people live at the mercy of how they feel. If they're motivated, they move. If they're angry, they explode. If they're tired, they quit. They call it honesty. It's not. It's lack of control. Emotions are signals, not commands. They inform you. They do not lead you. The strongest people feel deeply. They just don't let feelings decide their actions. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's discipline. It's the space between stimulus and response, where power lives. Anyone can react. It takes strength to pause, to breathe, to choose. Reaction is automatic. Control is trained. In every moment you resist impulse, you sharpen authority over yourself. Think about it. How many decisions were made in anger, in fear, in exhaustion, and how many of them aged well? Control would have changed everything. Emotional mastery doesn't make you cold. It makes you dangerous in the best way. Calm under pressure, clear in chaos, unshakable when tested. When others panic, you slow down. When others lash out, you listen. When others quit, you stay. That's power. The world will provoke you. People will test you. Circumstances will push, not to break you, but to reveal whether you're in control. And every time you choose restraint over reaction, you win a quiet battle no one sees. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about being intentional, feeling everything, acting wisely. Master your reaction, and nothing external can control you, because the person who governs their emotions governs their future. Power isn't loud, it's controlled. Consistency doesn't care how motivated you feel. It will expose you or build you. Everyone loves the idea of discipline. Few love the reality because consistency is unforgiving. It doesn't reward intensity once. It rewards obedience over time. You can't negotiate with consistency. You either show up or you don't. And every excuse you make becomes part of your identity. Motivation lies. It comes and goes. It makes promises it can't keep. Consistency doesn't speak. It demands. This is why consistency feels ruthless, because it removes the illusion. No shortcuts, no resets, no emotional bargaining, just repetition. The same effort on the boring days, the same standards when no one's watching, the same commitment when progress feels invisible. This is where most people fail, not because it's hard once, but because it's hard again. Consistency doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about your potential, only your behavior. And behavior, repeated, becomes identity. You don't become disciplined by trying harder. You become disciplined by removing the option not to act. Consistency forces honesty. It shows you who you really are, not who you say you are. And that truth can hurt, because it exposes gaps between intention and action. But that same ruthlessness is what builds unshakable confidence. Because once you've shown up on days you didn't want to, you trust yourself. Consistency isn't glamorous, it's quiet. It's repetitive. It's lonely. And that's why it works. Anyone can be intense for a week. Few can be disciplined for years. Be one of the few. Because consistency doesn't care who you want to be. It only rewards who you prove yourself to be. Consistency doesn't motivate. It reveals. Comfort never announces what it takes from you. It just slowly collects. Comfort feels safe. It feels earned. It feels harmless. That's why it's dangerous. Comfort doesn't destroy you all at once. It dulls you. A little less urgency, a little less hunger, a little less effort. Until one day, you forget who you were trying to become. Most people don't fail because life is hard. They fail because life gets easy. Comfort lowers standards quietly. You stop pushing. You stop questioning. You stop demanding more from yourself. Not because you can't, but because you don't need to. And that's the cost. You trade potential for convenience, strength for relief, future for now. Comfort rewards you immediately. That's the trap. Discomfort pays later, but it pays in full. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you teach yourself something. That avoiding effort is acceptable. And habits don't care about your intentions. They only care about what you repeat. Comfort creates a ceiling, a life where you're never truly challenged and never truly proud. The cost of comfort is subtle. You don't notice it day to day. You notice it in regret, in stagnation, in quiet dissatisfaction, in the feeling that you could have been more. Discomfort, on the other hand, sharpens you. It forces adaptation. It builds resilience. It demands presence. Growth doesn't happen where you're comfortable. It happens where you're stretched. This isn't about suffering unnecessarily. It's about choosing challenge intentionally. Because comfort will take everything you don't protect. Your discipline, your edge, your ambition, and it will never ask permission. So choose discomfort, choose effort, choose growth. Before comfort chooses for you, comfort is expensive, growth is priceless. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. Most people think change starts with motivation. It doesn't. It starts with who you believe you are. Your identity is not what you say. It's not what you want. It's what you practice. Every habit you repeat casts a vote for the person you're becoming. You are training something every day. Discipline or excuses, focus or distraction, strength or avoidance. There is no neutral. The future version of you is being rehearsed right now through your routines, your standards, your decisions when no one's watching. Identity isn't a switch, it's a direction. You don't wake up one day disciplined. You train discipline until it feels normal. At first, it feels forced, unnatural, heavy. That's because you're acting against your current identity, but repetition changes self-image. What once required effort becomes expectation. This is where real transformation happens, not in dramatic moments, but in quiet consistency. Your mind wants to protect the familiar. even when it's limiting. That's why identity change feels uncomfortable. You're not fighting the task, you're fighting who you've been. And every time you act in alignment with the person you want to become, you weaken the old identity. One disciplined decision beats 1,000 motivational thoughts. Stop asking, what do I feel like doing? Ask, what would the disciplined version of me do? Then do that. Eventually, effort turns into instinct, discipline turns into character, and identity turns into destiny. You don't become strong by wanting it. You become strong by training strength. Every day, become who you train to be. Identity is earned, one repetition at a time. Pressure doesn't break you, it reveals you. Most people run from pressure. They call it stress. They call it unfair. They call it too much. But pressure is not the enemy. Pressure is the test. Every great version of you is locked behind discomfort, and pressure is the key. Look at nature. Diamonds don't form in comfort, they form under weight, heat, time. So do kings. Pressure strips away excuses. When things get hard, you don't rise, you default. That's why pressure is honest. It shows who trained and who hoped. Anyone can perform when it's easy, but pressure asks a different question. Who are you when there's no room to breathe? This is where identities collapse or solidify. Pressure exposes preparation. You don't suddenly become strong under pressure. You reveal the strength you built before it arrived. The weight you avoid today becomes the weight that crushes you tomorrow. Kings are not fearless. They are trained. They've stood in pressure long enough that it no longer feels foreign. They've been uncomfortable so often that comfort feels dangerous. Pressure isolates you because most people leave when the air gets thin. And that's why pressure is a filter. It removes the uncommitted. It reveals the relentless. This is why your hardest seasons are shaping you, not punishing you. The nights you wanted to quit, the moments you felt overwhelmed, the days you felt crushed. That was training. Pressure sharpens focus. There's no space for distraction when everything is on the line. This is why great people grow quiet. They're not weak, they're concentrated. Pressure doesn't ask for permission. It arrives, and when it does, it decides who advances and who disappears. So don't ask for less pressure. Ask for broader shoulders. Stand still in the heat. Breathe under the weight. Let pressure carve you. Because pressure doesn't destroy kings, it creates them. What you survive, you become. Likes disappear, legacy remains. We live in a world addicted to attention, notifications, applause, validation. But attention fades and applause forgets. Legacy isn't loud. It doesn't beg to be seen. It's built when no one's watching. Most people chase approval. They want to be noticed. They want to feel important now. But what feels good today rarely builds something that lasts. Likes reward visibility. Legacy rewards consistency. The work that changes your life won't always be celebrated. Sometimes it won't even be acknowledged. And that's the point. Legacy demands patience. It asks you to plant seeds you may never see fully grow. It requires saying no to distraction, no to shortcuts, no to chasing relevance. Legacy is built through standards, through choices that cost you comfort, through discipline that doesn't trend. No one claps for self-control. No one applauds restraint. But those choices compound quietly, relentlessly. One day, the noise fades, trends die, algorithms change, but what you built remains. A body trained, a mind sharpened, a reputation earned, a life lived with intention. Legacy isn't about being famous, it's about being foundational. So choose substance over spectacle, choose depth over display, choose meaning over moments. Let others chase attention. You build something that outlives you. Likes disappear. Legacy remains. If someone can control your emotions, they can control your life. Most people think strength is physical. It isn't. True power lives in the mind. The world will test you. People will provoke you. Circumstances will pressure you. Chaos will invite reaction. And most people hand over control willingly. They react. They explode. They spiral. An untouchable mind doesn't react. It chooses. Control doesn't mean emotionless. It means disciplined. It means you feel everything, but obey nothing impulsive. An untouchable mind observes first. It doesn't rush. It doesn't chase. It doesn't panic. Reaction is easy. Restraint is rare. The strongest people aren't loud. They're stable. They don't need to prove themselves. They don't need to win every moment. When insults come, they pause. When chaos hits, they slow down, because power is measured by how little the outside world can move you. If someone can drag you into anger, they own you. If fear dictates your choices, you're already defeated. An untouchable mind trains daily, through discomfort, through boredom, through restraint. It practices silence when ego wants noise. It practices patience when urgency screams. Most people want peace. Few want the discipline required to earn it. An untouchable mind doesn't seek approval. It doesn't chase validation. It doesn't require permission. It's built in isolation, forged when no one's clapping. You don't become untouchable by avoiding pain. You become untouchable by enduring it without losing yourself. Control your breath, control your response, control your habits. And the world loses its grip on you, because when your mind is untouchable, pressure becomes irrelevant. Noise becomes distant. Fear becomes optional. Master your reactions. Guard your inner world. Build a mind no chaos can reach. Nothing outside you should decide who you become.